The Dallas Cowboys are beginning their post-draft adjustments, and with the dust still settling from the NFL draft of 2025, the reality of roster constraints has already led to difficult decisions. As expected, the team has begun trimming down to meet the league's 91-player offseason limit, and although the moves aren't shocking in the grand scheme of roster construction, a few names have certainly raised eyebrows, especially considering the buzz around the 9 undrafted free agents the team is expected to sign. Those players haven't officially joined the roster yet, but the writing is already on the wall. Space needs to be made, and the front office wasted no time initiating the process. One of the most notable cuts so far is running back Malik Davis. For fans who have been following the Cowboys closely over the past couple of seasons, Davis is not an unfamiliar name. He got a decent run with the team in 2022, suiting up for 12 games and averaging a respectable 4.2 yards per carry. For a player who started his NFL journey as an undrafted free agent, that kind of production was enough to put him on the radar and earn opportunities even if they came sporadically. He was never quite able to lock down a consistent role in the rotation, often lingering on the practice squad or hovering near the bottom of the depth chart. But Davis always seemed to be hanging around close enough to step in if needed. The challenge for Davis has always been the sheer competition in the backfield. And with the Cowboys selecting not just one but 2 running backs over the draft weekend, including the dynamic Deuce Vaughn, it became clear that the team was ready to move in a new direction. Add to that the presence of players like Jaden, Blue, and Phil Malfa, the 7th-round pick who's expected to get plenty of preseason snaps, and suddenly there's simply no room left. There's even buzz around Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders potentially being involved in the backfield rotation, not to mention Denzel Daxton, who enters the mix as part of the International Player Pathway program. It's understandable from a roster perspective. Lipke remains in place as a team's fullback, a versatile player who can step in at running back if needed. That kind of flexibility makes it even harder for someone like Davis to justify a roster spot. He essentially found himself as the 6th running back on a team that doesn't have space for 6. While some fans may have hoped the team would hang onto him a bit longer, especially with preseason action looming, the move makes sense given the numbers. Personally, it's a bit disappointing to see Davis go. There was always a sense that he had one more shot left, one more opportunity to prove he could stick. Just recently, we were talking about a group of players on the bubble, guys whose status with the team was uncertain. Out of those 10 or so names we discussed, 3 of the 4 we predicted correctly ended up being released. Davis was the one we missed. There's always that one name that surprises you, and for me, this was it. But the cuts didn't stop there. Another release that drew attention was that of offensive tackle Earl Bostic Jr. He was part of the 2023 undrafted free agent class, and at the time was considered a significant signing. The Cowboys gave him one of the largest signing bonuses among their undrafted pickups and clearly believed he had potential. But football is a game of constant evaluation, and Bostic's journey through injuries and inconsistent performances made it difficult for him to stand out in a crowded offensive line room. Let's not forget, this is a line that already had depth before the draft. With the addition of Tyler Booker and Dejiani Cornelius, the total number of offensive linemen on the roster swelled to 17. That's a massive group for training camp, and realistically, there just wasn't going to be room for everyone. Between veterans like Matt Waylett and Nathan Thomas and versatile interior players like Haki Denny, the competition was fierce. Bostic, despite his size, 6'3" and over 300 pounds, just didn't bring enough flexibility to earn one of those precious spots. Still, it wouldn't be shocking to see him resurface on a practice squad somewhere. Players with his build and raw tools always attract attention. The same could be said for Davis. This isn't the end of the road for either of them, but the time in Dallas appears to be over. Moving further down the list, we come to Jack Anderson, another offensive lineman who finds himself without a spot. His release wasn't all that surprising, considering his limited impact since joining the team. Anderson had bounced around the league before arriving in Dallas and was signed to a future contract back in January. That kind of signing usually signals that a team wants to take a longer look at a player during the offseason. But once the draft came and the influx of young talent arrived, his path to the final roster became increasingly unlikely. Anderson's story is a familiar one in the NFL. He's the type of player who's always right on the edge of making a team. He's shown flashes, but with so many other options available, especially younger players with more upside, it's tough to justify keeping him around. The Cowboys were clearly focused on infusing their offensive line with fresh legs and high ceilings this offseason, rather than leaning on journeymen hoping for a breakout. When you look at the composition of the offensive line now, it's full of options, especially for the interior spots. That's what made Anderson expendable. The team knows they can give their starters rest during the preseason and still have plenty of capable bodies to evaluate. And frankly, when push comes to shove, that's what matters. Preseason is all about evaluation. It's about finding out who can handle real rep, who can pick up the scheme, who can finish plays. And if you're not standing out during these moments, whether in practice or limited game snaps, you're at risk. Even though Anderson had some promise and versatility, he wasn't able to separate himself. That's a tough pill to swallow. But it's the business of football. The same goes for Brock Minson, another offensive lineman who didn't make it through the first wave of post-draft cuts. His name might not have the same recognition, but his fate was sealed by the same roster. Math. Too many players, not enough spots. As for the defensive side of the ball, there was also at least one release that deserves attention. A linebacker who had been with the team as an undrafted free agent was also let go. His time with the Cowboys mirrored that of so many players trying to find their way into the league, bouncing between the practice squad and off-season rosters, hoping for that one break. Unfortunately, that break never really came. He had rejoined the team earlier this year on what's known as a futures contract, a deal that essentially gives a player a shot during the offseason, but doesn't guarantee much beyond that. The linebacker group in Dallas has evolved significantly over the past couple of years. There are now several young names in the mix, most of them added through recent drafts or free agent signings. One player was even brought back right after the season as a veteran presence, giving the group a mix of youth and experience heading into training camp. There's also the reality that one of the linebackers won't be available for the first week of the season, which opens up opportunities for others to make an impression. Preseason will be crucial here. The team will want to test different combinations, see who can perform on special teams, who understands the system, who brings the energy. And while the recently released linebacker showed flashes, he was always viewed as part of the old regime. New defensive coordinators, new position coaches, and new expectations often lead to new faces. In that context, it's not shocking to see this particular name on the cut list. With the depth chart already getting crowded and the team likely to lean on younger talent during preseason action, the window had closed. It's a tough part of the business, saying goodbye to players who gave everything they had just to stick around. But with a new vision in place and the clock ticking toward training camp, the Cowboys are making it clear the competition is on and the margin for error is razor thin. While the releases may seem routine to some, they also signal a clear shift in the Cowboys' off-season strategy. This is a team that's not afraid to make early decisions and clear the path for players they truly believe in. For the front office and coaching staff, this is about more than just trimming the fat. It's about setting the tone. When you move on from familiar names like Malik Davis and Earl Bostic Jr. before even stepping into OTAs, you're sending a message. Nothing is guaranteed. Past contributions, practice squad stints, and flashes of potential won't be enough if the team believes there are better options available, especially younger and cheaper ones. This mindset also speaks to the Cowboys' long-term vision. They've been criticized in the past for clinging too long to players who weren't contributing significantly. But this year feels different. There's a heightened sense of urgency, possibly sparked by the frustrations of recent playoff exits. The front office seems determined to foster a culture of relentless competition. Roster spots are being earned, not given. And even the smallest edge, like special teams ability, positional flexibility, or simply staying healthy, could be what separates one player from another. Of course, we haven't yet seen the undrafted free agent class fully integrated. That will be the next step in this evolution. With 9 UDFA signings anticipated, including players from major programs and small schools alike, Dallas is preparing for another flood of raw but hungry talent. These players are walking into a locker room already filled with urgency, knowing the window to make an impression is small. For them, the early roster moves are good news. Every release creates an opportunity, and for undrafted players, even a single rep in practice can be the key to sticking around. One thing the Cowboys have done well in recent years is identifying UDFAs who can contribute. From guys like Peyton Hendershot to TJ Bass, there's a track record here. So it's not out of the question that one of these incoming players could rise quickly up the depth chart. That's part of why these early cuts matter. They clear the way not only numerically but mentally. The coaching staff can now focus on players they actually see as potential fits, rather than wasting reps on guys they've already moved on from mentally. The emotional side of it shouldn't be ignored though. These are human beings who've sacrificed everything to chase the NFL dream. To be released before even getting to full speed camp practices has to sting, but it's also a reminder of just how ruthless this league can be. It's a meritocracy in the purest form. You're only as valuable as your most recent performance, and loyalty doesn't extend beyond the needs of the roster. For Cowboys fans, these moves might feel like minor tremors in the grand scheme of a long offseason, but they're part of a larger pattern. This is a franchise looking to shake off the reputation of underachieving when it matters most. The decisions being made now, in the quiet months of May, could determine who's trusted. When the lights are brightest in December and January. And this isn't just about the bottom of the roster either. When you see a team taking a firm stance with depth players and special teamers, it often indicates a top-down shift in expectations. Veterans know they have to bring it. Rookies understand that nothing is being handed to them. And the coaching staff is making it clear they're evaluating everything. As we move closer to minicamps and eventually training camp, the roster battles will only intensify. Every preseason game will carry weight. Every joint practice, every walkthrough, every one-on-one rep. It's all part of the evaluation process. The Cowboys are setting the stage now, and the message is loud and clear. If you want a spot on this team, you better be ready to fight for it, because the competition has already begun and there's no room for passengers. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a surprising and bold statement that has sparked intense debate, Jim Nantz, the legendary CBS sports commentator, recently declared that the Dallas Cowboys were instructed not to win. Nantz, known for his professional demeanor and neutral commentary, made these remarks during a live broadcast, catching both viewers and analysts off guard. His comments have raised eyebrows across the sports community, especially given the Cowboys' high-profile status in the NFL. Nantz's assertion came during a heated moment in a game where the Cowboys were struggling to maintain control as the team faltered on key plays. Nantz made the statement the order was for the Cowboys not to win, a remark that left many wondering what exactly he meant. Was he hinting at some sort of strategic decision made by the coaching staff? Or was it a reference to the inherent pressure placed on the team due to external factors like media scrutiny or ownership influence? The comment quickly gained traction on social media, with fans and analysts dissecting every word. Some fans were quick to speculate that Nantz was alluding to a conspiracy or behind-the-scenes manipulation, while others argued that he was simply referring to the psychological pressure the Cowboys were under. Either way, the comment certainly added fuel to the fire of Dallas's ongoing struggles in recent seasons. Dallas, a team with an immense fan base and a long-standing history of success and failure in equal measure, has always been at the center of NFL drama. From their star-studded rosters to their notorious playoff droughts, the Cowboys seem to attract attention regardless of the outcome of their games. But Nantz's comment added an unexpected layer to the conversation, suggesting that there may be more at play than just a team's performance on the field. This type of statement is rare from a commentator of Nantz's stature. Known for his typically composed and objective approach, his words seemed to carry a deeper meaning that went beyond just football strategy. Was it a criticism of the Cowboys' decision-making, or perhaps a reflection of the frustrations fans feel when their team consistently underperforms despite high expectations? As the debate continues to swirl, Nantz has yet to elaborate on his statement, leaving fans and analysts alike to speculate on its true meaning. The Dallas Cowboys season already filled with highs and lows, has taken another unexpected twist, with this controversial remark hanging over them like a cloud. Whether or not there was any truth to Nantz's statement remains unclear, but it is certain that his words have added an intriguing narrative to the ongoing story of America's team. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.